Welcome to the first ever Victory Multisport podcast. This is Coach Sarge, and I'm here with Coach Kenny, one of the founders.
What up?
And Coach Scott was not able to be with us today, but he wanted to send a shout out to everybody that's listening and or watching the podcast. So I just to start off, I came back from Mexico last week. I spent a week down there for work, and it was kind of exciting. I had to deal with a couple of earthquakes while I was there. One, we had to evacuate our office building, which was no easy feat, 21 floors up. And then the second was Wednesday evening, Thursday morning early, 1:30 in the morning, had to evacuate the hotel because everything started rocking and rolling in the middle of the night.
So that when you're in the office building, could you feel that, like, could you see it moving?
Oh, absolutely. Everything's moving because especially 21 floors up, you're getting a whip effect with this skyscraper. The building's taller than that, but that's the floor we're on. And it's wild. It's like surfing almost. The floor's just shifting underneath your feet. So it's creepy. You don't know if the glass is going to start shattering out of the side of the building or anything. We didn't have any of that, but mind starts to race on all those different things.
I feel like you probably felt like you ran an Ironman.
And the adrenaline factor certainly is like that, for sure. You're trying to get all the other people out, all the employees, being in security and safety. My role is to protect everybody else. So I got to get myself out, but I got to get them out too. So did that in the middle of the night as well on Wednesday night. So, but everybody was safe. The building was fine. We got to reoccupy it later. Same with the hotel. So that wasn't too bad, other than now you can't sleep because you're amped up. So you get through it. We made it back, no problem. And get really excited about what's been going on at Victory and what's been going on with you, Ken.
So really just a couple big things. I had a loss in my family. My stepdad passed away, married to my mom. She passed 3 years back. And we had their ashes that we were finally able to put them at peace 3 miles out at sea in Bermuda, which was beautiful to get there. It's also beautiful to run, to swim. Just being in Bermuda is awesome. So I love that. But that was kind of tough because I had to go like on a Monday through Thursday. All my plans trainings got thrown up in the air. My work got thrown up in the air, but I was able to make do of it, which was nice, and got some good open water swims. It was funny. I swam about a mile out, and half the people on the beach were just waiting for me, and they were just kind of amazed when I came in, like, were you scared? Did you see anything out there? And, the coral doesn't let them in. And I said, the sharks out there have rubber teeth, so they were fine. Now I'm working on, I have an Ironman on 11/20th with Coach Bowles, with Harley and Sniper. So we're all prepping for that.
That's Ironman Arizona.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit not ready because I've lost so many weekends with Musselman, Ohio, Moraine, being in Bermuda, being in Hawaii. So I'm just trying to patch it together. But I know at the mental side, the physical will get there. So just working on that. And really, that's kind of been it. I mean, just doing.
This will be number 7.
It's number 7.
Number 7. So it's not like you don't know how to get there to the finish line.
Yeah, God willing, it'll be number 7. I feel like in my age right now, I'm just beat up every day. You've said it before. You feel like doing an Ironman when you wake up in the morning, walking down the steps sometimes is a chore. And I feel like I want to be Andrew Petcash, who's 24 years old, but I'm Kenny Lehman, who's 48 years old. So you know how that is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know a little bit about that. I'm a little north of 48 myself, and have been through it multiple times. But I think you'll be fine. I've seen you perform before. I've raced with you. I've spectated for you at Ironman. Many, many times. You always figure out a way to get through it. It might not be a world record pace or a PR in any way, but that's okay. You're out there to continue to do the sport you love, continue to support the team. The other guys that are racing out west, I know they were busting our chops a lot about, hey, everything's in the eastern United States, so when you're going to do something out west for us? And I think you're making it happen.
Well, this is going to be cool because racing with Sniper is always fun, and getting to see Harley and meet Harley in person, that's a special dude in my heart. So getting to be on the same swim, bike, and run for 140 miles with that guy, I'm looking forward to that one.
Oh, yeah. And I'm going to be there as well, coaching up and helping make sure everybody's bike's ready to go and everybody's getting checked in, keeping the schedule tight, keeping everybody on track. and making sure we're yaing the hell out of people all the way around the course. Yeah. So I don't know what happened last weekend. Anything big?
Oh, good Lord. That's a loaded question. So yeah, we had multiple things. So it's always fun in Victory when there's a race going on, because one thing we've always built in Victory is that family style team atmosphere. So it always feels like when one goes, we all go. This past weekend, it felt like we all raced. We had an Ironman go off, Ironman Maryland on Saturday. We followed up with an Olympic distance in the Pittsburgh area, Moraine up in Butler. And then it coincided with Timberman up in
New Hampshire.
New Hampshire. So we had 3 big events going on that were absolutely wild. And in all 3 events, that people killed them. Victory was everywhere.
Absolutely. I totally agree. Jason up in or down in Maryland, I guess, from here, doing his first 140.6, right, on the back of competing in Ohio earlier this summer. Outstanding job. I think he was 12 hours, 39 minutes, and just like chipped away at every piece of that race based on what I could see on the tracker as we tracked him the entire way around. I know you were more involved in his training, so
yeah, he was definitely an interesting one, Sarge, just because of his work schedule. I think there was a whole week or 10 days that we lost because he was bear hunting, which is rather unique. And then just with how he worked, we had an IT band issue. We always knew Jay was going to be a strong runner. And that really showed in this Ironman. I think he finished in the upper 15% of the top runners. He held a pace. I think he held like a 9:20 or 9:30 for like 22 miles. And then on mile 22, he threw in like an 8:15 just because he wanted to, you know. But to your point, Jason hit the plan. Like we always tell the athletes, just follow your plan, follow your training. Your training will get you there. Don't worry about deviating. And he stayed to his game plan. He stayed to his plan. And he was so consistent all the way around in the swim, bike, and the run. And it was just so cool to watch him from literally a year ago. This guy was just a runner, a 13.1. And in 1 year, he went from showing up at Buffalo Creek and having a great day to then wanting to do a 70.3 and had a great day in his first Ohio. It opened his eyes to what he needed to do. And he went back that final 8 to 10 weeks and just went to work. And 12:39 in your very first go is absolutely extraordinary.
Awesome.
And that kind of got the momentum of Victory rolling. So, you know, he might have been the straw that was stirring the drink that weekend, because that just absolutely catapulted onto Sunday in such a big way. And it's just so cool as a coach to sit back and watch it explode.
Absolutely. And then, you know, speaking of Sunday, we start off, we'll just cover this off, but Stephen, affectionately known as Stephonius sometimes, and
stiff arm, whatever Tanza wants to call him.
Yeah, Tanza's the nickname guru for us. But Stephen went over from upstate New York, drove over to New Hampshire, got himself set up, and went for his second 70.3 of the season and this year. And you know, I think he still did a great job. I know it wasn't the time he was looking for, but you know, there's some things that are going on in that course that were completely different than Muscle Man course or other courses that were out there last week. So,
Stephen's a big one in regards to Coach Bowles. So Coach Bowles works really closely with Stephen, and Stephen overcame a lot in this year, you know, from never swim, biking, or run to throwing down a sub-6 in his very first one. And then, you know, he wanted to maybe improve on some of those times, and him and Coach Scott had that, the trajectory going that way. That one there, the course is just so difficult. I mean, I think he added another 1,500 feet elevation on the bike. I think that the run was a little bit hillier, you know, later in the year, which is always tough when you have that second race. that first race, that you go all in on and you A it and you PR it. It's always hard to step away and then to come back with that same intensity. We've been there. I mean,
Absolutely.
When we do a full Ironman and then you have a 70.3 a couple months later, it just seems like you just don't want to do it.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a hangover when you get through with that A race. I think the other factor for Steven was the heat. I think it was a humid weather conditions that he had to deal with in New Hampshire. But I still think that he killed it. Like, he's just over 6 hours, not that far away from his other time. Completely different course, completely different conditions. Those things are going to happen. There's probably no two races even on the same course year over year that are exactly the same. So you're going to have to deal with all of those things. But really, outstanding job. And I know he even had a bike chain issue earlier in the season at one of his Olympic races where he was trying to train up and he
just broke it. He's so strong.
Yeah. So I don't know how many chains he carried with him at that Timberman.
Hopefully 3
or 4.
Yeah.
Wore them around his neck and everything like that, just so he had extras in case he needed them.
Yeah.
So, but he did a fantastic job as well.
Well, one of the things, like with Steven, I'm always just blown away by is the size of that guy's heart. And it's not necessarily on the race day, but he cares about everybody else. Mm-hmm. And he cares deeply about everybody else. Where's Tanza at when he's running 2 miles into his Musselman? Where's Tanza at? Making sure Mike was okay. Making sure Doc was okay. And so Steven will always win in life with that type of attitude. But I think he ended up doing something in this race with an athlete that might have run alongside him and was struggling. And I think Steven brought him, to that finish line. There was something going on there that somebody had found him on the course that he shepherded it in. And the thing that's so exciting about Steven is he is a tremendous athlete. And he's only going to get better. Right now, it's his rookie season. And, wait till next year. He's already got a race planned for next year, Sarge, which we know we're very familiar with. We might have as coaches probably a good 15 to 20 finishes, and that's going to be Ironman Lake Placid. He's going to run it back with Doc Pinion.
That's
and
right.
They're going to get after it together. So it's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think what we've found through our race experiences that even if it's not your A race or it's just a race that you're using to train for another race or just to stay in shape for the season, trying to get something else done, you're always going to have some goal in your head for yourself. But there might be other plans. There might be other plans for meeting someone on a course that you made their race, their A race. You made their race a finish when it could have easily been a sweep, getting swept off the course and getting picked up or quitting. So I think that happened with Steven and his friend that he met on the course, and I think he was able to bring that guy in. And that's going to make all the difference in that athlete's life, career, accomplishment list, with his family, whatever, because it's going to set him on a path to success for future and not have the mental anguish and struggle to overcome, well, I had to quit or I got pulled or, something like that. So sometimes those things happen and you have to look at that greater influence that might be out there that's pulling you towards that. And you were there for a reason. You still finished. You still had a great time. You still had a great race. You didn't get hurt yourself. You're ready to go for the next or ready to train off season now. Up in Watertown, New York, and with 8 feet of snow outside, so you'll be on the Wahoo.
I still love the video when he ran in that like a flood.
I know,
and it was up to his shins, and he's smiling, and a car drove by. Like, hey, do you need a ride? He's like, no, I have to finish 10 miles. Coach Bowles will kill me. Like, I still love that video. It's maybe one of my favorites.
Absolutely. So, just another aspect of this entire sport that comes up from time to time when you find somebody and you can help them accomplish one of their goals.
Honestly, I mean, with all the races I've done, probably my proudest race is Muskoka, right? Because that was Murph's first 70.3. And I think I started in that time. It was, instead of us going into the water all together, I went into the water in waves, and I had to go like 10 minutes after him, and I swam my heart out to get out before him, and I waited for him, and we did the race that day together, pedal stroke by pedal stroke, step by step. And to watch him with a broken foot to fight 13 miles to see him at mile 12 and 12.75, the way that course is laid out, you're running on top of like a little hill, and you could see the finish line below through the trees, and he could see his mom and sisters there. And knowing that he was going to do this, he started to cry, and that was probably the most beautiful. I've never cared about a time. I was just able to be there to watch basically somebody open up their Christmas gifts for the very first time and see the special gift at the end of the line was unbelievable. And that to me is my favorite medal I've ever earned. And Steven's that type of guy. He plays that type of way that he'll go out and do a sub-6, but he'll also be happy to do a 7 if somebody else is struggling.
That's right.
And I think that's the testament to maybe 100% of our team. You know, our team will not leave. You telling us to leave Buffalo Creek because of COVID? We're not. We're going to stand there. And we had 20 guys and ladies run Tanza in, guys with no shoes on, guys that had beers, guys that were cracking them on Tanza with a championship belt. Like, that's our team right there. And Steven's a lead dog in that capacity of he races different. And that's the guy that I'll always follow and love because of that.
Absolutely. And we even had another example of that with you and going out for the Gingerbread Man Running sponsored autism race on Labor Day, where we did the sweeps and we side saddled the final runners through.
What was that guy's name again?
George, right?
George, yeah, Run Like George.
Yeah, so, but before we met George on the course and found his story and brought him through to finish a race that he said if we weren't there, you weren't there, and the other guys on the team that ran that with him, he would have quit.
At mile 8?
He would have quit at mile 8 instead of doing his 13.1. But before that, you told the race director, yes, we will bring Victory athletes to come do this for you because we want to give back, but somebody has to be there no matter how long it takes the last person to finish to give them a medal. I don't care if it's past the cutoff. And they agreed to that, and we brought George in. I don't even think he missed the cutoff. He made it in time. But that's the type of commitment that we have to people we don't even know. But if we're going to show up, we're going to show up proper, and we're going to show up and do the whole thing. And we're going to make sure those people get recognized for what they're accomplishing, because everybody's goals, everybody's situation's so much different than everybody else's. You can't compare yourself to the next person in line at the starting line. You got your own internal battles, external battles that you're bringing there, your own scars from what you've lived through, and you're just laying it down. And just to be able to support people like that is what we're all about. Well,
that's the thing that always bothers me is when people say, yeah, but you're an Ironman. I only run 5Ks. I only run 5Ks. That bothers me because to me, nobody knew what George's story was. George's son was autistic. George was racing. He had the autism logo on his arm, and I'm so thankful to have that opportunity to do that with Gingerbread Man Running. And that was Josh McClurg, who is another guy that would lay down for anybody on our team. Josh is one of the most talented runners we have. He was running backwards on the course half the time, but he wouldn't leave George's side. And so when people say, yeah, but that's, I only run 5Ks. Yeah, but right now that's your Ironman. And that's what you got. Just keep moving forward. I think sometimes we get so caught up on, yeah, but I'm not as fast as him, or I'm not as fast as them. But run your own race in life. Every one of us are predetermined to go certain ways, and if you go that way and you go and you believe in yourself, I mean, those are some beautiful things. And to run in with George and to have him find us and send us an email was beautiful, thanking us. And,
he had to find us. He took some effort to get on the website and fill out the contact form because he didn't have any other way to contact us. It was out in Youngwood, Pennsylvania, so it was quite a little bit of a distance from our base here in North Pittsburgh, but we made the trek at 4:30 in the morning to get out there and be prepared to help those athletes enjoy the day. It was a pretty good day. A little rainy, a little wet, but not impossible and not miserable. It was kind of enjoyable.
But any Victory athlete knows when we're involved in something, Buffalo Creek rained. Pittsburgh Marathon, I swear it was like the dam broke. I mean, it rained from the start till the end. That 13-1 rain. So it's no surprising there's a lot of dog in us, man. We love that stuff.
Absolutely. Rain in Ohio at 4:00 in the morning to push the start of the race. So much rain. So it's coming. So, and just be prepared and we get through it. So we had an even bigger event on that same day that Steven finished his 70.3 on Sunday last. And because I think we had 11 athletes show up and just smoke. Individually smoke, collectively smoke, age group smoke, first-timers smoke that course. And in the Olympic distance and sprint, we had a couple people in the sprint. But we're going to break that down now a little bit because we really want to call out all of the accomplishments from those 11 athletes that happened last Sunday. And we were there. We had the victory tent. We had the victory flag. We were the Hellions, supporting them out on the swim beach, out on the bike course, and then, of course, on the run as well to get them in. First is the sprint. We had Alyssa and Joe Peroni both compete in a sprint. I think it was Joe's first ever try. And I know you know a little more about Alyssa, coached by Coach Emily, and has really come a long way. We met her in Ohio.
We did, yeah.
And she, before the race even started, said, "I'm going to look you guys up after this race is over." And I don't think it was 3 minutes after she got back to her phone that she was texting and trying to reach out for some additional coaching.
Yeah, yeah. Those both are that was such a cool race. I almost look at it as like a revival for both of them because, Joe had a serious injury right around the Pittsburgh Marathon. He had a surgery behind his eye that shelved his Pittsburgh Marathon race. We had to race it 1 week prior. And thank God Pittsburgh Marathon is such a good organization and giving organization. They showed up for his finish line. But Joe has felt on his heart that he wants to follow into the triathlon world. So Coach Shep has him ready to go in Moraine, and he had a great day. So for him to overcome that issue of the injury, and now he's targeting Galveston.
We're trying to push him towards Galveston. We think it's a really good
matchup for him.
Timing-wise, course-wise. It's a great venue. I was there last year with Harper and Alice and Christine and few other victory athletes. It's a really good venue. It works out really, real well. So, yeah, I think Joe's going to go for that Galveston 70.3 spring of 2023.
Yeah, yeah. And Alyssa was really cool. In life, I always look at, like, God leads you in certain ways, and sometimes you just can't doubt it, and you just got to go with it. And Alyssa, was walking on the pier, and we were down at the other end, and we bumped into her. She had her Pittsburgh Triathlon Club kid on, and we were like, "Oh, Pittsburgh." We started talking to her sergeant, Coach Bowles did, and they had their flag out, and we were all in our gear, and we ended up following her then, and she's such a good swimmer. She had just an issue in the water there. It was the first time of like dark water, and for her to come out of that water with the smile she did, running out, like fist bumping, thumbs up. It made my whole week seeing her just crush it. That was the big thing. And Coach Emily's going to have her, shooting for the moon this coming season. I know that we're going to want big things out of her because, quite frankly, they're inside of her already. It's just our job to pull it out and push her further. But it was just so cool to see her have a great day. And I love too when she was finished and she was putting her bike away. Coach Emily, who was we'll talk about her. She was shredding the course, and Em was running out of transition, and Alyssa saw her, and she was running on the other side of the cars like, "That's my coach. That's my coach. I got to see her." So it was so cool. But Joe and Alyssa, they both had very, very great days in the sprint, and we look for more big things out of them this coming year. But both of them started our day off right, getting to walk them in the water, watch them come out of the water. Joe had a fantastic swim, and Alyssa, like I said, just seeing how happy she was, that just made the world for him. It was great.
It was awesome. Awesome to see them both come through safe and sound, no issues, no mechanicals, no nothing that held them back from what they could accomplish last Sunday. Then in the Olympic, we had a ton of athletes, a lot of them, not a lot, we had a good handful that was their first Olympic distance race. We had Shane, Nicole, who else was first on
Pet Cash?
Pet Cash, first Olympic distance triathlon race of their careers, and all of them did really, really well. I don't know how we want to break all this down because there's so many accolades and awards that were given out, and podium spots and age group awards. We had every single person accomplish something, whether it's a personal goal or make that podium spot and get I guess they gave out dinner plates for this one.
Yeah, it was honestly so cool because, to start the day, we had our tent up on the hillside right up from the swim and right next to our friends at Pittsburgh Tri Club. And so it was kind of cool to see all the athletes coming around, and they were hovering into our tent and just watching them roll. One thing that I'm so proud of in building this is when you see victory, it's not like another club where you see like 300 Zoot people on the course that don't know each other. And one of our pride factors that I have and Coach Bowles does, Coach Sarge, is if this is a family, this is Cheers. We say it all the time. We want to go to a place where everybody knows our name. So when I walked down to the beach and there was a picture that was posted on Instagram of me standing on a wall, they were all together. So they could have easily, girls stay with the girls, the Tommies and the Matt Gordons who knew each other coming in stay off on their own, but they didn't. They found each other and they were all together. And it was just a beautiful moment I got to have with them. We had a nice prayer that kicked it off with all, looked like we had 9 people, nine folks that had a big prayer. And it kind of got everybody's, I heard it from a few of them, their hair standing up on their neck and watching them in the water. I mean, Tommy, we'll just go right through them. I mean, Tommy Schweers led the pack. He was the 4th overall male and just had a day. I mean, his first 70.3, he was close to being a sub 510 and he qualified for the USAT Olympic distance, which was this past year. Coach Nelson did it in Milwaukee. He was also an age group winner. So Tommy started off the ball. Matty Ice had another great day. I mean, Matt was somebody that I worried about when he came to us because he just was a power lifter. And then all of a sudden I started looking at his workouts and man, he was putting it down and Ice is bringing it. So in 1 year, this guy who never raced did the Pittsburgh 13-1, a 70.3 Ohio finisher. He did, he swept with us, with George up in Youngwood. So he got 2 13-1s, a 70.3, and then he came back to finish his season with an Olympic. And, he was 4th in his age group with some pretty serious talent in that age group. I mean, Matt's
I think he was only behind
like
placed by
seconds.
like 8 seconds, 10 seconds. It was very, very tight.
Yeah,
very
exactly.
tight to switch that spot pretty quickly and easily. So,
and he looked happy. And the thing that with Matt, he said, I just wanted to smile all day and have fun. And he did. And to finish where he finished, to be a 4th overall in that 30 to 34 age group was stellar. I mean, such a good day. Then you roll it down to Gordon. Matty Gordon had another awesome day. I mean, Coach Bowles handles a lot of his planning, and Matt had a sticky situation on a hill. He what happened with his?
So he has electronic shifting on his TT bike, and he must have hit a bump, and the battery disconnected itself, so he couldn't shift out of the gear. Coming up, probably one of the largest hills on the course. So he rode in the big ring and whatever gear it was in, I don't recall, but he saw us spectating at the top of that hill and pulled over, and we got it popped back in, and then it was shifting fine, and he went off the rest of his day. So, slight mechanical, delay, and he was huffing and puffing because he was in the wrong gear trying to get up that hill, but he made it and we got it fixed and put him right back on his wheels and he took off and he was good the rest of the day.
Yeah, he was one that really stood out to me, just how good he looked out there. On the bike, he looked very aero. On the run, very controlled. He looked happy. The thing I always tease Gordon about is his very first run in victory, he came out with not having run in probably years, and he shows up at a 5-mile run around North Park in the winter, and he had big hair. I mean, Matt, I always tease his hair flow is big, and it was everywhere, and he was super excited. I think he ran himself into plantar fascia. And he
probably did.
He had to go on the shelf for like 2-3 weeks, and we always still chuckle about that. But shifting down, then now we go over to Boyd, Shane. So, Shane's so interesting too. In 1 year, kid couldn't run 2 miles to running a 13-1, a 26.2, an ultra marathon. Now he's switching over into triathlon, and he's still going to dabble in a little bit of everything. But watching him out there, he's got his on his bike. He's another one that is having some rear hub issues on his bike, and it was making some noises. But my man fought hard, and he definitely earned his, what's his sponsorship he's always trying to get? Is it Red Baron Pizza?
Yeah, I think it is the Red Baron French bread pizzas. He doesn't like the regular pizzas.
No, the French bread. It definitely is
the
the French bread.
So he gets into it after a race, smashes them. I don't know how many, but he gets it in. So.
He's a goofy one with his appetite. He also likes Gordon's fish sticks. That's another thing he gets into.
All right.
So he knows
he'll have to work on his Instagram account, see if he can get them to follow him.
Oh, yeah. I think Red Baron's probably like, I don't know why they don't sponsor him. I mean, who the heck tags Red Baron in a day outside of Shane?
I don't know. They probably got him at the top of the list in the marketing meetings, right? They're doing a roll call.
Yeah, this Shane from Hookstown, Pennsylvania.
Absolutely. We gotta look him up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then Coach Nelson, I mean, what can you say? I mean, Jeff, again, is qualified several times for the USAT Nationals. And Jeff on a whim because he coaches Pet Cash, he coaches Tommy. He's involved in some of the other Matty Ice with some of their programming. Jeff wanted to race that and won his age group as well and just looked good. I mean, when he had a good swim, strong bike, and really just kicked it in gear on the run. And it was really cool seeing him run with Andrew Petcash and Matty Metz. They were all together. I mean, when one would go in, one would pass them. They did it on the bike. I think Coach Nelson and Andrew rode a lot of the way. So it was really cool to see. But, Jeff has a lot of cutting edge things he does, with his VO2 and programming, and to see it come together on some of the other athletes out there just was really cool watching a coach lead the pack there. And then Shanks. Yeah, Shanks, my man. So Shanks, I've coached Ryan for probably about a good year, and he did a 70.3, and I was really worried because Ryan was missing a lot of his bigger workouts because he's such a good softball coach. He has multiple jobs he does, and he just timing wise, he was just kind of missed. Well, he had a really, really good day in Ohio. He finished with a good hour and a half to spare.
Yep.
And, right off the bat, I'm like, dude, we got to get you into an Olympic and keep your momentum rolling. And he did. He had a really, really strong day. And it's going to be interesting to see because Ryan's already reached out to us about getting a new bike. Mm-hmm. So with Sarge to get fit. I mean, Ryan's working so hard on a steel bike. He had a water pack on his back.
Yeah.
So he's putting down good times.
He's working on his kit and going to, plan to make some upgrades into the next season. But I think, not only coming off a great 70.3 and then hitting this Olympic within a couple months, just set him on, lit his fire even more to stay involved and get involved in that sport. But I think it's important to bring up that, he's like many amateur triathletes, day job, then like 2 or 3 side hustles, coaching. He coaches softball. I think he coaches football.
He's everywhere.
And then he's still trying to get his workouts in. And we've met guys like him before. I know one of our old friends, Joe Fish, used to bring his trainer to the sidelines of his daughter's softball practices and games and ride on the trainer up against the fence so he could watch the game but get his miles in. So, those are the kinds of things. I don't know if anybody else has done that. That's kind of unique to Fish. But, those are the kinds of challenges that we all face when, triathlon is not your W-2. Mm-hmm. It's not your family that needs you type thing. It is a family sport because they get involved in it, but you have to prioritize and you have to work and you are going to give up sleep for it. You're going to be up early, stay up late, whatever, your life dictates, and you're going to have to fit it in. You're also probably going to miss a couple workouts, and that's okay as long as you're communicating with your coach. You can work that out. You can flip the week around a little bit to make sure that what you really need is still happening, and what is, can be let go because of life, the coach will help you let it go and take it off the schedule for you. So just an important point because there's a lot of athletes in this race and this weekend, and Steven and Jace, everybody that's doing this as a sport for their hobby has faced all of these challenges.
Well, yeah, with Ryan too, one last thing on him. I think the thing that I love so much is we talked that Sunday night and he said, I'm thinking about buying a bike, but talking with my wife, I want to make sure this is what I want to do. Mm-hmm. And then he went to dinner. And then his daughter said, Dad, when can I do one of these with you? And that hook,
sold.
Yeah, that got him hook, line, and sinker, because Ryan is a family man. Ryan's proudest moments are finishing a 5K with his daughter or running a 10K with his daughter. And that's the type of man he is. And again, it goes back to what we cultivate in Victory. It's that type of athlete that has the priorities that are definitely in check. And I'm excited because he's such an athlete to see where he goes when he gets everything lined up like how he wants it. Like a properly fit bike, a lighter bike.
You talked about Matty Metz lifting weights. I mean, Ryan, he's
carved out of wood.
Oh man, it's big man on a little bike. He's a lot of man going around the course. And Steven, the mustache alone on Steven is legendary. And again, we've got some Clydesdales in the stable for sure. And that's, they don't really use that term in Ironman world
anymore.
Other tri worlds, they had divisions of Clydesdales. And we still have that mentality because we've got some guys that fit that bill.
Well, I've often said if a fight breaks out on an Ironman course and there's like 20 Victory athletes there, like we're going to be fine. Like,
yeah.
We might win that age group.
Absolutely.
And the last male, this one here came kind of out of nowhere. I was swimming one day at the Richland Swim Club, and some guy just stopped me as I was getting out. I think, Sarge, I swam maybe 15 minutes. I had time in the window, and I'm one of those guys that's like, dang it, if I paid $500 to get in and I have that window and I know the pool's open, I'm going to go swim. And again, it's God's way of putting Alyssa to us, God's way of saying, this guy stops and he goes, hey, this guy reached out to me about maybe having me help him with a triathlon. His name's Andrew Petcash. Would you be interested in taking a phone call? I can't do it. I'm like, yeah, sure. I don't know much about if it's going to happen or what. Like 5 to 7 minutes later, I get a phone call from Andrew Petcash, and Cash met me the next day. We swam together, and that kid, I mean, he's in that 20 to 24 age group, and we originally wanted to just finish the race and beat his friend, and that then turned into, once we realized the type of talent Andrew has, that then rolled into, hey, we got to start properly fueling, getting you ready and making sure you have this and making sure you have that. And we did that shortly in that first week to 10 days. And Andrew threw down, I think he was number 9 overall finisher, and he won his age group in his very first triathlon. So having that type of youth, he was a Division I basketball player, that he has the engine, he has the motor, he has the mental capacity to go dark. And it was so cool watching Bob Petcash, his dad, cheer for him, and Mama Petcash. I'm not sure which
coach.
One.
He was another coach out there. We should have signed him up on Victory's staff.
Well,
he was loving every second of it. I know he's a big basketball coach.
He's a significant coach, yes.
Absolutely. So he was drinking the Kool-Aid that day, and he was really he was a force to be reckoned with as a spectator.
Yeah, I was riding with Andrew one time, and I think you had already peeled off, and we were deep into a 50-mile ride, and we were going up a hill, and Andrew wasn't even clipped in for a while, and I said, I'm like, hey, a little bit longer, thinking he was going to be way behind, and I hear him like whispering in my ear, let's go. Like I knew he was ready to go. So that's our usually our Saturday bike riding crew is Cash and Boyd and Matthew. and Sarge and myself, and we have a lot of good time out there. But it was just a proud moment to watch someone so young and naive to the sport that doesn't know how good he's going to be go out and just clean people's clocks, finish in 9th overall, and barely doesn't even know what he knows right now.
But just bringing the athleticism of being a D1 athlete all his life, really. I'm sure he's been training for something forever, that he can't even remember a time when he wasn't training for something. So this has just given him a new lease on athleticism in his late 20s, mid 20s, that's going to carry through. And, he's got a lot of energy, AP is all over it, and he'll fire everybody up that's around him. He knows how to get the crowd going. So
he came out of the water.
He's like LeBron James. You get that chalk on his hands and like smash it up in the air.
He came out of the water and he's like, I just want to punch somebody in the face. Like he was ready to go. And the thing I love about him, and the guys in Victory you'll know, Mans I think ate a whole ring of kibasi after the race.
Oh yeah,
He took pictures.
He smashed everything.
Oh yeah,
skinny as a rail too.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, so let's flip over to the female. Sarge, you want to?
We got the Savages up next. So we had two
Savages.
We had two of our female Savages race at Mighty Moraine Man's Olympic distance last Sunday. First and foremost, I'll bring her up. I directly coached Nicole Corsi. I would say, pent up dynamite is the way I would describe her. She's literally awesome. But this was her first Olympic. She had been sitting in the sprint distance,
winning everything,
being on a podium, doing really, really well, but knew that she wanted more, even though she's a little obnoxious about acting like she doesn't want it, but we know she wants it.
Oh, she wants it all.
She does, but she always tries to give Coach Sarge a little bit of heck back. And if you don't know Nicole, she's a spouse of a military man. He's on active duty, officer in charge of the ROTC program at Slippery Rock. And so, she has to deal with a little bit of adversity from time to time being by herself, but that only adds to her training ability. So that's kind of a good balance for her. But she did a fantastic job. She came in second in her age group. I'm sure if we could have had
overall.
Yeah, sixth overall total. But if we'd had a little more data, she could have probably chased that person down. I mean, she was on the hunt all day. She was clicking people off on the bike and passing them. And she was just every time she saw the team, spectators, people out there, she just had a big smile on her face and was just having fun, hunting people down on the bike.
She's a fun one to watch.
Absolutely. So we really enjoyed her being out there and her clicking another box on her accomplishment list of knocking down an Olympic. And we'll talk a little more about what's up next for Nicole here in a minute. But then we want to move on to
Medusa.
I don't know what we could say. I don't know how many in the men's group, and I'll back up. So on the Olympic distance, the men went first, and then 5 minutes later, the women went. And then like a few men came out, and then Emily shows up at the shoreline. So she passed a significant portion, caught and passed a significant portion of the men's Olympic athletes, and smoked that swim, of course, which we would expect, her being a collegiate swimmer back in the day. Now a mom of three, getting into the tri world in the last year and a half, 2 years, and just really doing an amazing job. But came in third overall in the, I believe, right, Kenny?
Third overall female.
Yeah, third overall female in the entire race, and just waylaid the whole thing.
Yeah, and the two that were in front of her, you had a collegiate, a college triathlete, and then you had someone in her older age group, but was an Ironman Kona qualifier.
Yeah, so
she's in the right crowd. I mean,
absolutely. So third overall, compared with people that not in your age group that were collegiate triathletes and people with massive amounts of experience in tri, did an outstanding job.
And it's funny with Emily. We have a lot of fun with her, and they always say that she's the yin to my yang. So she's the female version of me. She keeps everybody light. She's in almost every men's group chat that we have because the guys love her. And she's another one that's so giving. If you know Em and you just say to her, Em, I need help swimming. For instance, Shanks has already said, I want to break this year down and get my form right. Could I send swim videos to you so Emily could get them? Emily's donated so much of her time to go out and meet with the Colinas, the Joes, whoever wants to swim with her, she will. And she's fun to watch on the course. Absolutely. She has fun. She doesn't take things too serious. I think before she started the race, she probably needed 15 minutes to take everything off her bike. We had donuts strapped onto her bike pedals. We had a Dorito in her.
We had a pound bag of gummy bears
strapped to her,
strapped to the back stem of her bike. just to mess with her a little bit.
Well, she likes snacks. She likes her
like
options.
She likes her sweets and her snacks. So,
but it was kind of cool to see, like, so everybody that was in our backyard. I mean, this race was where Victory's footprint is. Where all the coaches live, to see, we roll in there with 11 people, and we had multiple high finishes, and the red and the green everywhere. People were like reaching out to us right and left because they want to be coached like you all are getting coached. The athletes are getting coached. The family style environment, being on the course with them. I think we probably had outside of the racers, we probably had another 15 to 20 people that were Victory athletes that were there just to support. I think we had at least 10 to 12 of them, and then another 20 to 25 that are family members there watching, their significant other or family member do something uncommon. So last weekend was awesome, starting with the Ironman to the 70.3 all the way down to the Ollie. I mean, to have almost 20 athletes racing with another 10 to 15 standing around watching it. That's the environment that we live in. And we're not only surviving it, we're dominating it.
We love it. We love it. It gives everybody energy, gives family members energy. The other athletes that aren't racing on that day still came out. We had Dane out there. We had Kim. We had
Clutch and
Organic came out. So everybody's there.
Ron
for
and
each
Tracy.
other.
Yeah, they were all rolling.
Awesome. And we had a little bit of activity yesterday, and we've got some people racing today, Ken.
We do, yeah. So yesterday we saw another PR go down. So new coach in Victory, Hayden, new athlete. So he wanted a sub 4 in the Akron Marathon. And he came in with a big PR, 352, and big things. He's Hill Pursuit, so give him a follow. He is going to be pretty active inside of Victory in regards to coaching triathletes, strength and conditioning. He's coaching Kate Hawley right now, who raves about his lifting program that he has her on. So he had an awesome job. So shout out to Hayden. And then we have a few out there today in the great race. I think Peroni's racing it. Grace had to pull up via injury. I fully expect Jaybird, 57 and under.
Yeah, unleash.
Jaybird gave me, I said sub hour. So she replies back as an athlete would to her coach, 59.59. Got it. And I said, no, 57. So, she's a fun one to coach for sure.
That's a good one. That's a good race too. It's 10K and, slightly downhill a lot of the way through that race. So
it is really, weird really how you start on a hill and you run down and you go right up a hill. And then once you get into Oakland, it's pretty much 2 miles downhill.
It is. And you can just bring it home. So it's really, really awesome. So, all right. That covers the history. Let's move on to what's going on next weekend.
Yeah.
We got some action all over the country. So we've got 3 races going on at the same time. I believe they're all on Saturday this weekend for some reason. I don't know what there's about the first weekend in October, but the races seem to be Saturday. So we have Memphis, Muncie, Ironman 70.3, and we have Waterman's 70.3 down in Maryland. So we have 3 different venues. We have one Victory athlete in each of those races. So we'll step through that right now with Memphis. We have Annie. I know you coach Annie directly, right?
No, Shep does. I'm involved in a lot of her plan, and she's going to be a fun one to watch. Annie could potentially have a fantastic day. She's anytime she races, she's going to be one of those ones that leads the pack in the Savages in that age group opportunity. And the thing I always tease her about is I want somebody to piss her off on race morning, whether it be Bailey.
Yeah, we'll have Bailey, her husband, not put the dishes away or something.
That'll
make her mad enough to race fast.
Whether it be Coach Nelson, who's going to be down there on site to torque her up a little bit. I always say Annie likes to come out swinging. So Annie is one that's pretty unique to us because she came here, I just want to run a marathon and I want to run fast. Well, she had an injury, so Coach Shep mind the fact that she was a great swimmer. I mean, she'll swim in the 120s and 130s. And her running is very strong too. So when you look at her swim, bike, and run, Annie's going to have a great day. Annie's bike is very, very aggressive. She has a strong finish on the run, and her swim, she could be one of the top females out of the water. So I expect with Coach Nelson down there, who knows the course, who's raced that course, and him to be in her corner in the athleticism that Annie possesses, that it's going to be a good day for the Savages starting us off in Memphis.
Absolutely, absolutely. And our other Savage, and I told you we'd come back to it.
I thought she was done for the season.
Yeah.
She only raced like 32 times.
Yeah, she's never done. Though she kids about being done. So Nikki Corsi, again, coming back for her A race of the year, which is her first 70.3 at Waterman's down in
Rockville, Maryland?
No, it's not Rockville. We'll look it up, but it's on the eastern shore of Maryland. And she has tried to talk herself out of it, tried to talk herself into it, but she's ready to go. She's done her training plan to a T. She's been awesome as a athlete for Victory Multisport. She's drinking the Kool-Aid, and we've really are looking for some really good things from her. We're definitely expecting a strong performance. She's on point, and it's going to be an exciting day. We talked about some cage dynamite earlier. And that's what's going to happen next weekend with her.
She's like a caged animal.
Yeah,
man.
She's ready to go. So she's traveling down later this week. She'll get prepped up, and we'll make sure she has a really great day next Saturday on that course, 70.3.
Yeah, she's one that's funny because you look at her journey in Victory. And, it's as one of her friends moved and she moved further away. It's nice that she has created this, as Colleen always says, the family I didn't know I needed. Mm-hmm. And she's probably one of the most respected athletes inside of Victory. And she gives that off, though, in regards to drawing people in, reaching out to people, waiting for people. To watch her finish her Moraine, like literally I was wanting to like high five her, and I saw her like 20 feet away from me take off in a full sprint. Mm-hmm. I'm like, she'll rip my arm off if I put it out there. So I'm not even going to. Nikki, if you hear me, tuck your elbows in. Don't swing them out. Coach Sarge is going to tackle you on the course. No, but with Nikki, this is a year of firsts for her. First time on that 1.2 swim to the moon with Annie. Mm-hmm. And it's ironic that they're racing the same day. And then it was the first time into an ollie, and she showed, just stepping up in a race course with different dimensions and different sizes, the same thing is going to happen. She's going to find the podium. And now we're stepping her up again because she has that type of talent. So I fully expect Waterman's is going to be, another showcase for Nicole to show up and show off.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there's no doubt that she really does like to race, because she gave me all kinds of heck trying to get her plans together, throwing in all kinds of half marathons here and there and just different races. So, but Nicole, you're going to do fantastic. We're happy for you, and we're gonna see you finish.
I've muted Sarge's mic. Add 3 more races before the end of the year. He loves it.
Hey, pick him up. We'll do it. And then your man,
my man. So Mr. Hawley, Ben is going to take down Ironman Muncie, and the thing that's real awesome with Ben is those that know Ben love Ben. Ben's another mini Steven, where his heart is so big, and when you're around Ben, you love Ben, and Ben stands for the right reasons in so many ways. And Ben doesn't like the run. The running is Ben's Achilles, but he loves biking. He loves swimming. He loves having a beer here or there. It does not matter.
I think he's adding extra cages to his bike to carry a couple beers.
He is. He asked me if the helmet would be allowed if it had the 2 beer cans and a straw on it. And I said,
as long as the strap is
around your chin, you should be good. No, but the thing about Ben, if you know anything about Victory, is Ben just came here one time to the clubhouse, and he followed Kate in, and Kate was racing. Kate was doing Buffalo Creek. Mm-hmm. And Ben was just around it. And he said one time in Ohio, he goes, "Oh, great. I love these weekends and I hate these weekends because I get so charged up on camaraderie. I drink a lot of beer. I'm watching everything unfold, and then I sign up for things I don't want to do. But Ben is going to have a good day. Anybody that knows him knows he was an Eagle Scout. He'll figure it out. He'll find a way. He's hitting all his swim bikes and runs. And if anybody knows how I feel about him, I don't care what his time is. I want him to tell me day in and day out. And I've gotten the text multiple times how this victory has changed his life and how he's a better man. And Ironman will be no different. Kate will be there making sure he finishes. He has a special recovery day that's going to be beer, kibasi, like everything. He's already looking for
everything he loves.
Everything he loves. Yes.
That's right.
And Kate has the same, and it's an inside joke. Kate will never let something be red, so she's going to have to do the workout with kibasi and beer. But no, I expect Ben to have a really good day. He had a great bike. He had a great swim in Ohio.
He did 2 legs of the relay, and he could have easily just transitioned right into his shoes and finished in Ohio too. That wasn't the plan for the day, so he did his work and he handed his chip off to the runner and let him finish. But he's all there. He's got all the components together. He's going to make the recipe, and it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, Team Holly's a fun one to coach because they are. She's a leader in the Savages. He's a leader on the men's side. They both are on the whiteboard that Kate dominates, and Ben gets a little sliver of the whiteboard. He might be one of the funniest people I know. So, I think everybody in Victory, Ben, is going to be following so closely to what you do. Just do what you're going to do in Muncie, which is going to be have a great day. Smile, finish with a huge smile on your face, dude.
Awesome. Yeah, I think so too. Absolutely. We'll be tracking everybody all weekend. Well, I just wanted to say thank you for listening. This has been the very first one of our attempts at podcasting, and it's all because of the athletes and the energy that the coaches and the owners of Victory Athlete, Coach Scott, Coach Kenny, get from all of you. We're here for you. We do this because of you. And hopefully you learned a little bit about each other, learned a little bit more about the coaches and about Victory Multisport and how we're going to dominate in this arena now and in the future.
Absolutely, guys.
Take care.